Um, the only reason why I gave it a thumbs down because of the he was saying that some was saved before knowing what Jesus did on the cross, before knowing the gospel. I don't agree with that. When they believe and trust in what Jesus did for them, then they are saved. It's all about what Jesus did on the cross, including the blood atonement. But anyway, we'll play. Someone commented, yes, sure. I don't agree with women ministers, etc. But anyway,
Greetings, all. It's Max, and we're back. And I'd like to let you know that um, all of these false flag attempts on me have all been cleared. Every single one, except this copyright one from Pope Brian Denlinger. And I don't want to fill out the copyright claim on that because then the guy's going to have my address and he's going to put that on my internet, and it's going to be up there forever. So, no, I know you're going to come out with a video putting my personal information up there. You've already done it. So, I don't care about your copyright strike. Um, my status guidelines are fine. Everything is green. We're all good to go. And now, what I want to talk about as we go into it here, we're going to talk about Acts 18. And there's been some question about, in my last video, I mentioned that there's nothing in the Bible about saying that a woman can be a pastor or a deacon or a bishop or anything. And this is the rebuttal to it, sort of, or a question to it, sort of. So I'm going to clear it up because they're saying that Priscilla was a woman who was teaching Apollo. No, that's not what's going on here. And there are several things we're going to talk about, but we're going to start Acts 18, verse 1. After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth, and he found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately from Italy, with his wife Priscilla. So Aquila is a dude. Because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them. And because he was of the same craft, he abode with them and wrought. For by their occupation they were tent makers. Okay, so they're making tents. I don't know how long they were there. Bible doesn't really say. But they're making tents, sewing and doing whatever tent makers do. And they're talking, and Paul is directly giving them the gospel message and explaining the Bible and doing everything. Okay. Now, this is right here in Corinth. Okay. Now, the rest talks about what Paul is doing. And now we'll go to verse 22, 23. And after it had spent some time there, Paul, he departed and went all over the country of Galatia and Phrygia and Order, strengthening the disciples. And a certain Jew named Apollos, okay, this is who we're talking about, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man and a mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesus. So now we're in Ephesus. This man was instructed in the way of the Lord, and being fervent in the Spirit, so he is a saved guy, he spake and talked diligently the things of the Lord, knowing only the baptism of John. So he he knew about God. He was a saved guy. He didn't know the gospel, though. Okay? This is
isn't that when you trust in the gospel? Is that when you get saved? That's what I always thought from when it's all about the blood atonement. You're saved when trusting. That's my issue with this video, Max. I'm sorry. I have an issue.
a babe Christian. I would like to, make the comparison to me. Newly saved, very fervent in the Spirit, wants to go out and go teach people. That's who the guy is. But he's a babe in Christ and doesn't know a whole lot about anything yet. But the key points he might have. He might have that. Verse 26, and he began to speak boldly in the synagogue, whom when, excuse me, Aquila and Priscilla had heard, they took him unto them. So he was speaking They didn't say nothing, but they took him unto him. They took him in the back and they're like, hey, dude, you're a little messed up. You're a little messed up. That's what they're saying. And expounded unto him the way of God more perfectly. And some people say that this is where women are teaching men. No, this is not. This is where you have obviously missionaries, husband and wife team, who are going out preaching to the lost. And they run across somebody who has, the right idea. And they're obviously very spiritual and very, what do you call it, on fire with the Lord. But they don't understand the full thing because they're a babe in Christ. All right.
But they're not saved until they trust in what Jesus did for them. If they don't know about what Jesus did for them on the cross, they don't know the gospel, how can they trust in what Jesus did? Right? So then they're not saved until they trust in what Jesus did on the cross and in his blood atonement. Sorry, that's why I dislike this video. I'm sorry about that, Max. I don't have to agree all the time. I don't. He's not saved until he's trusting in the gospel, and it's all about what Jesus did, not our own works. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you in this video, and I'm not going to play the whole video. And okay, thank you, Max.